our board meeting. Thank you. That goes from 6:30 to 7. So now that's 7 o'clock. We're transitioning to the full membership meeting. So welcome. I said this earlier, but it is amazingly the last week of school. That's just unbelievable to me, to you, I'm sure, and to many people. It's been a great year. I think I just need to say thank you again to everybody who's been involved with the PTA. This is really a year when I think people stepped up volunteer-wise in terms of planning events and filling different roles and fundraising and all of that. We'll talk a little bit later and vote on the June budget, but this is the the summer budget. This is the fun one when we get to like just spend all that money that we've been raising. So that's a great thing. I have a couple just things to note under my items here. One is at the board meeting just 25 minutes ago, the board voted on a new vice president for next year. At the last meeting, we had a vote for a slate of candidates presented by the nominating committee, and the full membership voted on it. In the meantime, unfortunately, we are informed by the vice presidential candidate that due to a number of other obligations, she just wouldn't be able to fulfill the position. So I actually self-nominated and was approved to be the vice president next year. I was going to stay involved anyway, and I've enjoyed it, and I'm very excited to turn the helm over to Megan. And I've been honest that I can't spend quite as much time next year, but I will continue to be involved as vice president. So just as a quick refresher, you're starting July 1st. Your president will be Megan. I will be your vice president. Doug over here stays on as secretary, and then Colby will be your treasurer. So the one thing I will say related to that, I made the plug earlier, but again, I'm not sure if there's any new people on. We have a list of other board positions, a wide range of roles that we, are seeking people to help us with. And thank you. We've actually had that pretty well filled. But I was going to be communications chair. I can't do both jobs. So I will just put out a plug again that if you or anyone you know would be interested in being communications chair, they can contact me or Megan. They're both basically done the role and can kind of fill them in as to what that entails. I think the other three things I wanted to quickly cover in my opening were, first of all, on the last day of school, which is only 3 more days, on Friday, we will be once again having the kids dance into summer. So if you were here last year, it's a lot of fun. I don't know, Mr. Dana, where the cougar suit, but I think I'm not sure that cougar. I know. We need someone else. Yeah. So if you weren't here last year, basically, Ms. Chinham sets up the sound system at the main entrance, and we have a smaller sound system at the bus exit, really, if you think of it. And as the kids exit out of the building, we have loud dance music playing, kid appropriate. And we also have 2 bubble machines that, spew bubbles, and so the kids kind of dance out. Last year, we also gave out sunglasses. That part will not be included this year. I think it was a nice to have, but we felt it wasn't necessary to spend the money on it. But just if you're here for pickup or something, there will be a big dance party outside as everybody dances into summer. So as a parent, if you're doing pickup by car or foot or what have you, we encourage you to join. And if you're usually a car picker upper, it might be worth parking on a neighborhood street and walking up to be part of that. So join us for Dance into Summer. My second item is that, save the date, March 16th, we did get the Cabin John ice rink again. So that was a huge success. I can't tell you how many people said, let's do this again. So it's a lottery, and I guess we're just really lucky because we got it 2 years in a row. I don't know how competitive it is, but it's another Saturday night, another 6:30 to 8 o'clock. So that March seems so far away, but it'll be here before we know it. But that was just kind of a fun new addition to the annual thing. And then Rachel, I see you're on, so that prompted me to remember that Rachel has spearheaded an initiative. She is an incoming kindergartner to collect information of children with, parents with children who are incoming kindergartners, French and English. So there's a Google form that she created that I shared in Facebook and various other places. I was in the newsletter. But if you just happen to know anybody with incoming kindergartners, neighbors, friends, whatever, Feel free to spread that, give them that Google Doc or Google Forms. And that way there'll be some play dates set up over the summer and opportunities for parents and kids to connect. So with that, I will pass it over to Ms. Prin for the principal's update.
Okay, first off, I wanted to, Mr. Jane wanted to send his apologies. He wanted to be here tonight. He was requested with another meeting for his position starting July 1. He's trying to make the transition very bittersweet. I'm sure it is for you, it is for him, it's good for all of us, but we're excited for him. I also want to thank the PTA for making our school so wonderful. Your work does not go unnoticed. I wish you could be here each day, see the smiles. It makes me emotional because you bring so much joy in what you share. And it's so much of your time and so much of your energy. But it makes such a big impact. Staff is impacted by it and our children are impacted by it. So I just really thank you from the bottom of my heart. Because it's this family that makes our school so special. So I thank you for that. This week is very exciting. There's different events happening each day, as you know. It's fifth grade Spirit Week. They pick their own items for what they wanted for Spirit Week. Today was pajama day, so I said earlier I draw the line at pajama day on Tuesday. So I did sweats instead, but so tomorrow will be their clap out and celebration with their friends in the classroom. So they'll have cupcakes with cougar things on top and Capri Suns and food, and they'll just have a fun celebration. And then the promotion for our fifth graders, the next group of the kindergartners. So I will be sobbing with the parents. But they're ready for middle school. So we will do a promotion ceremony starting at 9:45 within our school cafeteria. And then many families want time with their kids on their promotion day. So they some will go with families to lunch or to celebrate after, and some will stay. So we'll be ready either way. So our promotion is on Thursday in the morning, and then we're doing the party. We're going to do a whole school out before they go to their party and head out, and then they'll come back to do the ceremony, and then they'll pretty much be done. So we're excited about those activities. It really is exciting. Miss Nolte, which Acacia, you had mentioned earlier, she just became a grandparent for the first time. So she has a grandson named Debbie, and she has took some time to go be with her daughter. So I'm really so thrilled and excited for her. So she is coming back, but she'll be back on June 26th. So she'll be back before the end of the month. That's her scheduled day, but she is out she was out last week, or last week, all of this week and all of next week. So Miss Amaya, man in the office, and Mr. Jane, Michelle, and Riley, and we're stepping in. So we're in a good spot. And that's really about it. I'm excited about summer school. We are doing really well with our numbers for summer school. And we're ready to go. We're excited, the PTM we have to through the summer. The office will remain open through the summer. If anybody needs us or has questions, somebody is here each and every day. We do summer hours, so I come in a little bit later, leave a little bit earlier, but it's still during workday hours. So it's 8:30 to 3:30 or 4 every day.
I just want to make sure we mirror the thank you and the compliment. That we are so lucky to work with you personally and more broadly the administration and the teachers. That's a great part. That need to continue.
Thank you.
Is there any news on the vice principal?
So we will be looking, I am working with our director, so it's, above the school level, then there's directors, and then there's associate superintendent. So I am working with my director. If the job is posted, so we will be interviewing as soon as we do those interviews. I will be contacting to see who would like to sit on that panel. Usually we have one person, two from the PTA come and join us. We have a staff member, of course I'll be on it, we'll have Miss Amaya, Miss Murphy, we make a team, and you'll be invited to sit on it, but I'm working along with him for those interviews.
And will that be a permanent position or another like intern kind of rotating?
So there is definitely,
Okay,
I don't know what.
okay.
There's very few permanent things in the county, because the training is that the assistant principal is like your training program to be a principal. There's a few that say, no, saying that during the training, but it's not often.
Okay. Any other questions from Ms. Frank? So Acacia, the next item on our agenda here is to vote on the summer budget.
Okay, so let me just give the bank balance update and then we'll go over the summer budget. So as at the end of May, our bank balance was 21,530.92. There were two outstanding checks for $518.47. So our balance on hand at the end of the month was $21,012.45. We also had a PayPal balance of $2,628.32. That was from this silent auction, and it kind of came in after, like towards the end, but not then. By the time I did the transfer didn't clear because it needs 3 days. So that has been transferred and it'll show up on the next month. So when I talk about our programs report, the spring fling and silent auction doesn't include that money, but it's there. Total income for May was $2,931.36. That was mostly a restaurant night for $270, Spirit Gear for $500, Spring Fling was most of it, $875 for food and tickets, silent auction for $1,000, starting cash redeposited. I have a little tiger over here. Square had $849 in transactions. PayPal had $2,743.20 in transactions, and MemberHub had $856.34, which I think was a lot of what went through that raffle tickets, I think mostly. Cost of goods sold was Spring Fling supplies, $750. Our expenses for the month were $2,405. We had $226 for staff appreciation. Carnival expenses, which is the petting zoo, $830. Spring Fling building rental, $300. Spring Fling starting cash, $225. Then the processing fees for Stripe, Square, PayPal. Stripe is MemberHub. We paid insurance for next year for $226. We processed $522 in teacher grants, and that was it for expenses. So I keep kind of classes in our QuickBooks, which helps us look at things that go across multiple lines in the QuickBooks and are hard to see just by pulling a report. So I kind of tag them all together, like all of these are book fair, and it takes into account like processing fees and stuff. So the year end for our book fair was finalized a while ago, was $2,856.78. Cougar Cash didn't change this month, still $5,637.84. Our movie nights ended up with a profit of 532. School supply kits was finalized a long time ago. We were negative 342, but with a big inventory. So heading into this year, whoever volunteered for the school supply kits, I'll be working with them to go over our inventory and see what we need to buy heading into the next year. We need to also start advertising school supply kits, and we need to contact the teachers and see if there's any changes they want to make to our list. Skate night profited 810. Spirit gear profited 1,075, but that is before an invoice that should be due any day. Amanda, did you hear back on that invoice?
Good for her, I don't know.
Okay. So there's still an invoice. We'll probably end that with more like $600 or $700 for total for the spirit gear. Spring fling, before that PayPal transfer went through, had a loss of 4,600. Spring fling and silent auction, or $46, I'm sorry. So once that clears, we're looking for a profit between spring fling and silent auction together of 2,900, 992. So 2,992. Quarterly sales and use tax getting filed at the end of the month, so I can file that July 1st. Summer budget is ready for our approval, and we're going to be working now towards the budget for the fall with Sal, who I think is or was on. So I'm getting ready to close the books. So once everything goes through, there might be a few things that carry over, a couple of reimbursements just with the timing of things this year. We've accounted for that in the budget, but we're doing everything that we can to get everything closed so that by the end of the month, we can just close the books and start with the new without too much hanging over to the next year. So I do have a financial review committee, and that usually meets in August. We go over my book and, you know, we use QuickBooks, so everything's really balanced, but it's mostly to make sure that like all the receipts are there and nothing was paid for without a proper paperwork. There's a few other things in there, like every time we passed a budget, was it noted in the meeting minutes or in the meeting agenda? You know, did you follow those processes? It takes about a half an hour. I need one more person for that committee. We usually meet like on a Saturday morning in the summer and just kind of do it all together, and everybody signs, and that's it. And then I submit it in the fall to National and Free State and Montgomery County, so they have it as part of our SOCA documents. Or
Keisha, you can
yes.
add me to that. I'll help you.
Pardon me?
You can add my name.
Okay, great. So I did contact the bank to initiate transferring to new signatories. It's going to be Megan and Colby and me. I'm the bookkeeper this next year. And so I'm waiting to hear back from them. I need to follow up. So in our previous meeting, I showed our list. I'm not sure if anybody's new is here, maybe, of the requests that we received for funding over the summer. We're ending the year with a really nice amount of money. And we put out a request in the springtime from teachers saying, what do you want for next year? And we'll see if we can fund it. And we were able to fund really all but one. And it wasn't really about money, the one that we decided not to fund. So that was really nice to see, that we were able to do so well with fundraising. And I mean, yeah, it's fundraising, but it's like how well we pulled together as a PTA this year and got so much done, and we're able to like provide so many community engagement things. It really helps to bring everybody together and work together. And this is just kind of the numbers of how well we worked together this year. So a a reason why we have a summer budget instead of just a budget for the next year is that we have to pass, everything that we do for this year ends the end of the month, and we have to pass a new budget to have any spending over the money for the summer, but we are not allowed to dictate what next year does. So we're passing things to, summer activities that the new board and the new membership really doesn't take effect, even though they're technically on. People aren't really back and engaged until school starts, and the new budget starts October 1st. So this is like, keeping our doors open, making sure that we can get everything done so that they can just move forward without skipping a beat until money comes in and all of those things. So I have an estimated starting balance. Let me see if I can just share screen right here. Share. I have an estimated starting balance of 17,000. That's about what we started with last year. Some explanations on those line items for donations and fundraising and what those are. The donations are a little bit of Cougar cash that comes in when people sign up with their memberships and at the beginning of the year, and a restaurant night that we'll have over the summer. The fundraising is the school supply kit program that we run for the back to school supplies for the students. Membership dues are self-explanatory, and the other there is spirit gear sales. The cost of goods sold is the invoicing that we get from the spirit gear sales and the supplies that we purchase for the school supply kits. Then we move down to these categories for committee expenses. That is a staff breakfast in the fall and a PTA tablecloth that we are going to order. Family engagement programs are Boohoo Yahoo and Cougar Kickoff. And the fundraising expense there is the deposit for our skate night that we got. And we have to put that deposit down in the summer. Operational expenses are Zoom and processing fees for things like PayPal, MemberHub, Square. And then the program support expenses are like our requests that I laid out. Also, it is money that we're carrying over to cover any reimbursements that don't go through by the end of the year. So that $10,000 is library grant, instrumental music grant, teacher support grants, additional grants requested like a stool and a language translator for the health room, some chairs, a wagon. We have summer school supplies in there, t-shirts for incoming kindergartners, homework folders for the different classes, and then the funds carried over. So with the estimated starting balance of 17,000, we're hoping to use 12,000 of that to get us through the summer and get us prepared for the next school year, leaving us with a $4,000 balance heading into October when things start ramping up and we start thinking about things like book fair and all those fun fundraisers. So if anybody has any questions, happy to explain anything. It's pretty well laid out and we've gone through all of it as a board. So we just need a membership vote to approve these spending lines. So if there's no questions, then I propose that we vote on the budget.
Their motion to approve the budget. All right. A second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We have a budget. As we said at the membership meeting, this is the fun one. That's great. Thank you so much, Acacia. Do you have anything else before we move on?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
So Raya, do you have an update? Don't have the late BP update, but I do have a plug for folks to please join the Parents for Equity and Excellence Committee.
It'd be really great if we could get that rolling, this summer. And a diverse group is a better group. So if you're someone who's really interested in school climate, and all parents are, because Maryvale is really a fabulous place, as we all know. But, you know, we're all working together to make it even more wonderful. So if you're interested in, you know, digging deep into some data, and really thinking about how we can support what's happening around here to make it even better for all of the kids, you know, increasing sense of belonging for all of the kids, and increasing achievement for all of the children, please join the Equity and Excellence Committee. There's my plug. It's gonna be great.
And, you know, obviously, when we also get a new communications chair, we can all be talking about like what we're pushing out for the summer, what we're gonna do last in like September, because I mean, the reality is a lot of people, ourselves included, are a little dialed down on our engagement for summer, but you know, in September, we'll be sure to recruit for things like that. So thank you so much.
Also providing my box, because I always have a PTA fund that would be that quickly kind of. At the right in the bucket in August for the time. I'm always waiting for that, and I know you are too. And to.
All right, so Sandra couldn't make it tonight, but our fundraising updates are here. $372 at Chipotle. That was great. And then we heard earlier from Acacia, just shy, it was like $29.92 or something, just shy of 3,000 for the silent auction, which after the Cougar Cash Drive is our biggest fundraiser. So thank you. I know they're not on, but I'm going to thank Rachel and Sandra anyway for all of their work. It was great. And then acknowledging that this was spring fling, which it rained again, but kind of only rained a little bit. It didn't really rain, but anyway, I still think it was a success. The kids that were there had a lot of fun, and you know, it's been many years since I think the big spring fling days, and even those of us who study the older children don't even necessarily remember it. But I think we've kind of settled into a nice pattern of, you know, spring
The
fling.
last one was in spring. There was you, me, and the preschool,
Yeah.
Set up over at the soccer club.
I remember.
It was great, but also lower key is better.
Yeah,
I think it was just a lot of work.
Yeah. So I don't know, but we'll talk about it for next year and all, but I think people are kind of happy also now because they lower key one. And we can talk about, we have budget.
Yeah, like different families, because again, different families, and then from the movie night, and it was nice.
Exactly. And then we have money for, we need somebody to run Cougar Kickoff. That's one of those open positions. We have money for petting zoo again. Maybe with those.
You feel free, we can have big things. They can get along.
Yeah, keep goats. Everyone likes the story of Mr. Jamie, like, no goats in the gym.
And I passed that on.
And we're like, how about bunnies? So anyway, that was nice. So I digress, but that was our fundraising update. And again, just acknowledgement to Sandra in particular, who's not on, but I'm gonna say it anyway. For, I mean, the reason why we have $21,000 in the bank account is largely Sandra, so that is great. And just as context, I think people know this, but like coming out of COVID, we had like no money, like none. So this has been a huge step in the right direction to be able to do that. Okay, moving on to other business. I've mentioned this again at the board meeting. I think, to be honest, we're pretty much all the same people. Yes, now we're on Zoom, so I will repeat. Thank you. The official transition for the new officers will take place a little before or around July 1st. So just, I'm putting it out there again. If you are emailing president@Maryvale PTA.org, you will get me for the next like couple weeks, but then there'll be Megan. And that will be shuffling the deck on all of that stuff. There will be there should be no actual membership meetings over the summer, but there will be some planning conversations and executive committee meetings and those types of things as we ramp up to do things like the September budget, because we're going to have to vote at the first meeting in September on our budget for next year, which obviously is a pretty substantial one. So things like that will be ramping up, Cougar Kickoff, recruiting for committees, all those types of things. So you know, Megan will be your point person going forward. It's super exciting to have a new president, new energy, et cetera. So, and then my second item here is, once again, my plug, we are actually getting great responsiveness to the Sign Up Genius, but there's still some more positions. We'd love to have people help on various positions. Some are bigger than others, like for example, we need someone to do the not sprinkling, we do need sprinkling also, but like the Cougar kickoff, that's kind of a one-time event, but then there are other ones like communications chair, which will be ongoing, but you know, smaller time commitments for a longer period of time. If none of that appeals to you, but you still want to volunteer for something, just contact president at Maryvale PTA.org. You know, we've got all sorts of ways that you can help, and even some of the things that are like full, like book fair. Thank you very much, Barb. You know that like technically there was only one spot to sign up for. We always need help for book fair, so we'll take
As many people.
as many bodies as possible.
Yeah, because especially those first 3 days, because trying to help the kids write everything that they want on their list, and the more help we can get, helps them write on their list.
And I'll work with you on a tailored blast, but it's been in the newsletter, but I think it would be good to say like, we need this, and this.
And I was thinking we can, I don't know if it comes from me or you, but we should probably do an end of year email blast. Just this budget, I'm going back to like that spreadsheet that I shared of like, let's celebrate
some
what
highlights,
we've
some
done.
ways, yeah.
et
I
cetera.
think that's a good idea.
And then say, we still have some opening.
Yeah, and then also does include the kindergarten, side thing.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So we can work on sending that.
Yeah, one of our kindergarten.
Contracted, no. Oh, perfect. Yeah, great.
Well, then.
A quick update on Spirit Wear, we successfully filled the last set of orders. The shop is technically still up and running over the summer, but there won't really be deliveries because there's no mailboxes delivered to, so that'll come back in the spring. Fall, that's leading to, sorry. And then that brings us to open forum. Any other topics people want to bring up?
I just want to say thank you to Amanda and Teresa and Keisha for their hard effort, especially during COVID, and all of our contributions. Thank you for bringing it to the floor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I get to talk to the.
Wonderful.
No, it's been a lot of fun, I really enjoyed it. As I said, not going anywhere, but you'll still see me. All right, so at this point, we're officially gonna end the membership meeting and transition back to the board meeting, which I think we only need like 5 more minutes. So if that impacts anybody joining or dropping or what have you, and I guess we can end the recording.